Here, that's the virtue of chastity, sexual integrity. I said, what? I've been Catholic my whole life and never knew that this is the image that the church holds out to the whole world for sexual integrity? I walked into St. Peter's Basilica, this was 2011, and I had been to St. Peter's in Rome many times before that. This is maybe my 6th or 7th time having been there. And I was on, for the first time, I was on an official tour. Like, there was a tour guide. I had never done that, so I was getting kind of the official tour guide-y tour of St. Peter's. And I'm looking, or in the nave of the church, so the high altar is way down there, and I'm looking up at these sculptures in the arches of the nave of the church. And this one caught my eye. It was absolutely fascinating. It was a woman, bare-breasted, at least partially bare-breasted. One breast was exposed. She had kind of a veil over the other one, but you could see the entire shape of the other one. It was one breast veiled, one fully exposed. And she's holding in one hand, let's see, she's up like this. One hand right here, she's holding very firmly the horn of a unicorn whose legs are like ready to go. And in the other hand, she's holding very tenderly a rose. So unicorn, rose, bare-breasted. And I was just like, what is, I said to the tour guide, I said, what is that?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, in the nave here, the church and all these arches, Pope so-and-so at the building of St. Peter's Basilica in the 1500s commissioned so-and-so, an artist, to sculpt all of the Christian virtues. And he says, the one you're looking at here, that's the virtue of chastity, sexual integrity. I said, what? I've been Catholic my whole life and never knew that this is the image that the church holds out to the whole world for sexual integrity?
Right.
What? So I started my research. This is my whole deal, right?
Yeah.
So what I discovered as I did my research, which is quite fascinating, was that there's an ancient symbolism of the unicorn as a Christ figure. Before the New Age movement took it over and turned it into this, wacky New Age symbol, it was a Christian symbol. And the idea was also the unicorn was the symbol of wildness that needed to be rightly directed, right? So you have in these two hands of this maiden with their breasts exposed, and the breast exposed is also a very important point because in Catholic theology, the symbol of the virtue of Christian love or charity is the nursing mother.
Yeah, okay.
So many examples in St. Peter's Basilica of a nursing mother, or there's even one of this woman squeezing her breasts, expressing the milk. If you're standing at the high altar right to the right over this one tomb, this statue of this woman squeezing her breasts, a lot of this Catholic symbolism is more scandalous to some forms of piety than some people might wish it to be.
Right.
But when you understand the mind of the church, just what we're saying about understand the symbolism.
Right.
Right? Don't project your own distorted, perverse, pornographic view onto the bare breast.
There you go.
Understand what the artist is trying to say. And the church in her art is saying in the nursing mother or the woman expressing her milk, there is no more fitting image of Christian love than the mother who gives her breast to the child. When you understand that, then you can look at this with the unicorn and the flower, and right in the center of the sculpture is Christian love. So what?
Oh, yeah.
Christian love's in the center, and then in one hand you have a masculine symbol, in the other you have a feminine symbol.
Phallic symbol.
Which, I often joke with my students when I show them this image in my class, I'll say, so there's a masculine symbol and a feminine symbol. Which is which? Right?
If you don't know, ask your parents.
Yes. So again, Christian art is more scandalous than some forms of piety might wish it to be. What's being said? The unicorn is not only a symbol of Christ, but the unicorn is the symbol of a kind of wildness that needs to be rightly directed. Not the way you rightly direct it is through reverence for its power, not by stifling the power. Right? So true chastity, sexual virtue, sexual integrity does not stifle or squash erotic passion. It directs it towards the true, the good, and the beautiful.
Yeah.
And the trajectory of her hands, with the unicorn in one and the flower in the other, the trajectory of love is that she's uniting the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
wonderful.
So that's true sexual
that's
virtue,
yeah.
a genuine, a tenderness, right? So erotic love, erotic desire is wild on the one hand and needs to be properly directed. It's passionate and powerful, and this unicorn is all its muscles are flexing, but it's also tender and beautiful and
Yeah.
soft, if you will, like
Yeah.
a flower. The two need to be united. Not only, this is not only the female and the male symbol, but that needs to be united in me. I have to have a strength and a tenderness. I have to allow Christian love in me to unite a strength and a tenderness at the same time. And this woman's gaze, the bare-breasted woman with the unicorn and the flower, this woman's gaze is right at the unicorn, right in his eyes. And she's showing the power and strength of the unicorn a great deference and reverence.
Huh.
And that's the legend in Christian folklore, that the pure maiden is able to, through her reverence of the power of the unicorn, can tame that unicorn, not eliminating or eradicating its power and strength, but directing it. And if that happens, if that proper direction happens, and we're looping back to the bull,
Yeah.
the horn of the unicorn, rightly directed in its power, becomes a horn of salvation.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But if you don't show the proper reverence to the power of that strength of eros, the unicorn will gore and kill you.